James McMurdock will not seek Reform UK return after COVID loan questions. MP for South Basildon and East Thurrock says he will remain an independent after surrendering whip last week. So here's a reminder of why McMurdock has stepped away from Reform. Reform MP James McMurdock resigns whip pending business propriety investigation. Yes, that's right. Allegations relating to conduct during pandemic due to be published by national newspaper. It quickly emerged that Mr. McMurdock had suspended himself after the Sunday Times approached him with allegations that he borrowed £70,000 under the government's bounce back loan scheme during the pandemic in 2020. He had two companies. The former had no employees and negligible assets, it said, and took out a £50,000 loan in 2020, the maximum amount available. It would have had to have at least £200,000 in turnover to receive the loan. He resigned as a director and transferred his shares to his mother in 2021, the Times reported. The second company was dormant until 2020, but in 2021 borrowed £20,000 under the scheme, which would have required a turnover of £100,000.
This is an example of a human being who's picked himself up from a terrible situation and made a big success of his life.
But in terms of being a MP and representing constituents, my point here is not what happened. My point is that there is a discrepancy.
Right.
It's important to remember Nigel trying to polish the turd of why McMurdock had not been completely honest about a conviction for kicking his girlfriend several times when he was much younger. So why isn't Nigel doing the same this time around?
I couldn't say on that. I mean,
he said I pushed her over.
I believe you.
But
I haven't
that's
seen the discrepancy.
Court document.
It's a spent
what
conviction,
did he tell you
end
he'd
of
done?
conversation.
Well, what did he say
spent
he'd done
conviction,
to you?
end of conversation.
And a clear message has to be sent, because you cannot have terrible behaviour like this escalating. It absolutely needs to be nipped in the bud.
You're talking about an inside Westminster story that you want to talk about.
If you want to professionalise the party, then these are questions people are going to ask. And if it was another political party and this has happened, you would expect me to ask them as well.
Anyway, back to McMurdock, who recently wrote this. Further to my statement tweeted on the 5th of July 2025, I've now had a chance to take specialist legal advice from an expert in the relevant field. In light of that advice, which is privileged and which I choose to keep private at this time, I've decided to continue my parliamentary career as an independent MP, where I can focus 100% on the interests of my constituents. I wager that McMurdock no longer wants the scrutiny that being in Reform brings and wishes to pull himself out of that turbulent and chaotic stream. Click here for some more Reform reprobates.